I saw
Hey,
him.
good morning, everybody. This is Tracy Williams, and I'm on the Self Care Saturday Show. I want to thank you for joining us as you jump on live with us this morning. Give us a shout out so we know who you are. If you have a business, please put that in the box. We want to be able to give a shout out to all the small businesses and let you know that we do support you, especially in time of COVID. All righty, so we're going to get started. I have a great guest this morning, and we have an excellent topic to talk about today. Last week was all about miracles. So if you missed it, I'm going to encourage you to go to YouTube and watch that from on the Tracy Williams Inspiring Hope channel. It is awesome. There was a prophetess Bonita Fagan was with us, and it was awesome. And so I just feel like we're just going to keep on growing and going and growing together spiritually and getting a little bit stronger and in our faith and in our faith walk, because we walk by faith and not by sight, right? Yes. So I want to thank you again for joining us. And guess what? If you didn't know it, now you do. Your Saturday morning, your whole weekend, this next week coming up, I'm telling you the truth. It just got better because you tuned in here. And not because of me, I'm not saying that to brag or anything, but because of what we're talking about. Because there are two or more of us gathered here, God is in the midst. And I really feel strongly He's going to do something powerful in this week. Now, if you can just believe that and receive that, I'm telling you, it will happen for you. That doesn't mean it's going to be all easy, but when God gets through, it's going to be better, because He always takes what's meant for evil and He turns it around for our good. So everything works together for the good of those who believe, right? And those that are called according to His purpose. And so, mentioning the whole miracle series, you need a miracle when things seem impossible, because what is impossible with man is always possible with God. Am I right?
Amen. Yes.
Yes. Okay. And
Absolutely.
so let me tell you
Amen.
what, there is not going to be a testimony unless you have a test. So it might be time for a test for some of us, right? So
Yes.
let's just pass our test, keep growing stronger and going so we can get there longer, right? Because we can get further if we do it together. So I'm going to introduce to some and just say, reintroduce to others my guest this morning. So excited that she's here. And I'll tell you a little bit about how she got invited to the show, because she doesn't even really know herself, you guys.
You're right.
So if you don't know Sandy Archer, this is Sandy Archer, okay? She is. And okay, so let me start off with this. Like, I don't know her personally, but I do know a few things about her from the Spirit of God, right? This is an awesome woman, you guys, and she is very realistic. I like the fact that she's transparent. When I talked to her, she was transparent. So I'll give you her formal titles if you wanted me to do it just the right way, right? So Sandy Archer, she's a spiritual health and life coach. She is a podcast host. It's called Awakenings Within, and that should tell you something right there. Okay. She's also a Christian, follower of Jesus, loves Christ, right? Prior to this, she was a non-denominational pastor, a women's leader and ministry leader in the church, and she led the small children's group there as well. So that's just a little bit about her. You want to give them a shout out?
Hey, hello. This is Sandy Archer. Nice to meet you all, and thank you for joining. And I'm so blessed to be asked. I was very surprised, so I can't wait to hear on how I was asked to come on the show. So, we've all been on a journey, and awakening within. And this time, we really need encouragement. We need hope. So I'm excited to be on here, and I watch Tracy every Saturday myself. So I have been watching for a while, and I'm really excited to see what the next series is too. So thank you, Tracy, for having me on.
Thank you so much. I'm excited that you're here, and I'm anticipating what you're going to say, because none of this is rehearsed. Just so you guys know, we didn't even talk. I just sent her a message through Messenger, and that was basically it. And she said yes. And so this is what happens when you say yes, because you know that this is what God wants you to do. Okay, so the reason you got invited to the show is I said, my prayer. Lord, I don't know who you want me to have on this weekend, but I know you have something in mind. And so I went to sleep that night, didn't worry about it no more. And I knew he wanted to talk about angels. And so I'm like, who am I going to get to talk about angels? Because, some people are scared to talk about it because some people believe in angels and some don't, right? But
Yeah.
we can't control what people think or believe, right? We can just encourage. But so I slept that night, woke up that morning. He said, call Sandy Archer. And so
Oh,
when I thought about it, I was like, okay, sure. I've only talked to her once before, ever, right?
right. Yeah.
So when I thought about it and I got to study and I kind of refresh about the angels and the different type of angels and the hierarchy of angels, right?
Hmm.
So one of them is the archangel, right?
Hmm.
Michael is the archangel.
Yeah.
So that's how you got picked, and that was my confirmation as well. Is your last name? Is I knew, okay, yeah, this is it, right? Because
Oh my
you
goodness.
know, uh, yeah. So I'll just leave it right there. So
No.
this is how she got picked, and so I just want to encourage you guys in saying that when you say yes to the Lord, He gives you great opportunities. Now, some of you may know or not know this show it can and is going a long way because I have invited myriads of angels to join us today. Come
Ah,
on. If
yeah.
y'all know what a myriad is, then and if you don't, that's at least 6,000. It's a legion, right? It's a term. It's a military term because the things that we go through, we can't fight these battles on our own, right? We're talking about an unseen world to the natural eye, but to
Okay.
a spiritual eye, you can see and you can hear and you can know. And when I say see, I don't mean always you will see them with your eyes. You'll see like the six wings, those that have six wings and all of that. I mean that you will be able to hear those senses. You might be able to smell or touch or feel a certain way
Yeah.
when it comes to angels and things like that. So when I had kids in my home and I did ministry, you know what? They would see angels. All I could see was those little bitty lights. I'm like, I don't see. They could describe them and everything, right? But that shows
Yeah.
what happens when you lose your childlike faith.
Yeah.
So why am I saying that? To encourage you, get back your childlike faith because that's where we need to be and supposed to be. So with that being said, I don't want to talk a lot because this show always goes by really quickly to me. I don't know about you guys, but really quickly.
Yeah.
And so I'm just gonna let Sandy have at it. You can talk to us, just a little bit about how did you know for sure when I said angels, you were like, sure. I mean, I got the answer right away, you guys. So what was your confirmation?
Well, it's really funny. I have talked about angels quite a bit, and not to you, right? And
Right?
and I have had encounters with angels, and it's one of those things. You don't know where people stand on if they believe in them or not. And so I'm very careful on who I speak to about it sometimes because I'm not sure, where they're at. Well, I actually put, after you asked me, I put out there, who believes in angels? Do you believe in angels? Just on my Facebook page. Just thought, I'll just throw that out there. Let's see what I get. Only about 3 people told me no out of 141 people. All the others said yes. They believed in angels. And you have to think about that. If you just think about Christmas, like what's one of the songs, Angels You Have Heard on? We've heard about angels for a long time, especially if we're coming from a Christian foundation, right? That we have songs about it. We talk about it, in the Christmas story, of course, and Christ's birth. It's about angels. And one of my most favorite, I just moved from Norfolk, Virginia, and there's an art gallery, the Chrysler Museum. And one of my favorite paintings that's in there, and of course, Tracy doesn't know this. This is on my refrigerator, and it's the most beautiful picture. And it's of the shepherd seeing the angel. And it's on my refrigerator because I would go to the museum and I would just sit in front of it and I would pray. And to me, that's just, wow, that's just so awesome sight. But I have had encounters with angels, And of course, sometimes I didn't realize that they were until afterwards. Like you don't know. I don't think you always don't know that they are until afterwards. And if you read anything in the Word, it talks about angels, and always there's fear first, because their presence, they're usually sending a message to you or giving you a message, and you don't know what you're dealing with. It's in the spiritual realm, so you don't even know why they're there, and it's kind of so if you look, many people in the Bible, their first reaction is fear. But luckily, I didn't have that fear. And I don't know, I'm not sure why, but I can think of two very interesting times. The first time I was actually with my son, which is great. I had people that witnessed it too. So it's kind of like when you're by yourself and you have this encounter, you just want to be validated. You don't want to say, did that happen? So the first one was my son was about 10. We were just going on a bike ride, but we had traveled really far to these baseball fields. And in God, he's funny. He has a sense of humor, by the way, very much so. So we we rode our bicycles to this baseball field. Well, I had no water with us, and we had cycled quite a bit, and he's 10, so he was getting out of breath and everything. And so I see a vending machine, and I knew I had some change in my pocket. And so go over to the vending machine, think I'm going to get some water. And I'm 10 cents short, 10 cents, and you know how you shake the machine to see the stuff fall out, like, maybe there's some coins, and he's like, Mom, I'm thirsty, a 10-year-old, Mom, I'm thirsty, he wants you to fix it now. So I'm shaking it and looking around. I'm like, well, son, I just don't have the 10 cents. I don't know what we're going to do. All of a sudden there is a guy walking up. You know how you have your little coin thing in your car with change in it? You know how you throw your change in it? A guy in a baseball uniform, okay, walks up, has the change thing. And he says, he hands me 10 cents. Okay. He says nothing. He's in a baseball uniform because we're at a baseball field. So I'm thinking, well, that's normal. And I take the 10 cents. I said, oh, thank you. We were 10 cents short. And he didn't say anything. And we put the 10 cents in, and then the water comes out. We turn around and the guy's gone, like vanished. We're like, and my son is even like, where did that guy go? And I was like, I don't know. We're thinking he has a car because he has a little coin thing, right? You're like, he's got a car. But it dawned on me that he never said anything. He never said a word, and that he just handed me the 10 cents. And then, of course, if you're coming up to get to the vending machine with a coin thing, you're going to get your own drink, right? So yeah, why would he be vanished? Like he just gone. And my son, to this day, we would talk about this, and it was, at the time, I was going through a really hard time. And it wasn't that I needed proof that God was going to meet my needs at the time, but I think I was kind of like, I was struggling, and I was struggling with prosperity. So it was God sending me that angel, because it was an angel, no doubt. I mean, just kind of there he was, and gave me 10 cents. And I mean, it was amazing. I mean, I wish it was more of a like, woo, he gave me some big message, but that was a big message for me because I was validated. And now to my son now believes in angels and believes in God because of it. Right. So it had so many other purposes to it. Just one thing, one angel visitation. And it was just so cool. I mean, he handed me 10 cents. I'm thinking, oh, an angel handed me 10 cents. Like now I'm like excited about that. Like, wow, I was in the presence of an angel that God sent. He wants to meet our needs anywhere we're at. We were just bicycle riding. I mean, it wasn't like we were, on the street or, but that gesture just really cemented how much he cared for me and he loved me, that he would send his angels to minister to me just in that one little bit of need.
Yeah.
So that was just one encounter, but it did something for me forever, right? So even for my son who is 10, that stuck with him. He remembers it. And I go to him, you remember, like when I feel like I kind of go, remember, God will meet your needs, because he did just 10 cents much, like that was just amazing to me. And I've told the story, and there are people that will go, well, he probably, and what was also cool about that is at the time, the big movie was Angels in the Outfield. So not only was he ministering to me through that, but he was also like, hey, I know that's one of your favorite movies. I'm going to send you a guy in an angel in a baseball uniform. I mean, come on, and I'm a baseball fan. So he represented so many different layers of that. I know that sounds, like.
No, that's perfect. I mean, that's how he is. He knows every single thing about us. That's how he does, and what's amazing too to me is that when I tell people, I know I have 4 angels with me all the time, they're like, I can't believe she said that. But God is really concerned about us, and he knows every single thing. He knows what one little bitty thing to us is huge, to us, but it might be small to somebody else. But it's the little things that count, right? And it's the little foxes that destroy the vines, right? That just eat right at the bottom of the vines and destroy things. But those bigger things, so it makes us appreciate. So I love that you shared that story. So if you guys are jumping on in the middle, again, I'm Tracy Williams with Inspiring Hope, and my guest today is Sandy Archer. She is a life health coach. She is a spiritual coach, and she also was a past non-denominational pastor and a women's leader and a youth leader as well in the church. Yeah. So join in, if you have a company, put your company's name in the box. I just want to give a shout out to Miracles with Water. Kathy Weaver's in the house, and she's here every Saturday also. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Miss Lisa Moore. She didn't put the name of her company in the box, but I know she does have one. And also I want to give a shout out to Dr. Laura for Beyond Basic Health. She's in there. And so I thank you for joining us again. And we're just going to keep rolling with some more stories that will build our faith and keep us to keep going on this road and know that God cares. He loves you, and he is concerned about every little detail of your life, right? Yeah. He always has angels giving charge over us. And all we got to do is speak the word. They excel in strength, and they'll be ready to zoom, get right there to you, right? So just think of it like that. Every time you get on a Zoom, just remember, look, if you are in help, if you need something, God will be a present help right there in the time of need. Zoom, he's right there. Boom. He got the angels ready to work on your behalf, talk to you about any specific little thing or big thing to you. So Sandy, tell us a little bit about your next encounter.
Well, the next encounter, of course, I didn't see the angel, but angels have always been sent to me either to minister to me as into drawing God closer, me getting closer to God. And so, or for protection. So he sent angels for protection. When I was younger, I could see the spirit world, and I saw, there's good angels, there's not good angels, right? So there has to be the both, and so at the time I was seeing both, and I did at one time ask him not to see that anymore, so because I could see both, and so anyway. So, but when I got older, I couldn't see the angels, their spirits, and I've been in hospital rooms, and I've had a little experience with, feeling a brush of an angel during somebody's passing. So I've had that happen. I'm not going to share that story because it was very emotional filled. But I have actually felt that the presence of them taking somebody home. So that has been that was interesting. I didn't see them, but I felt them. I kind of felt like a
different.
Yeah. It was like, whoa, and it wasn't anything. It was very calming. It wasn't startling. It wasn't sad. It was very just like, oh, oh, that's good. They're here and they're taking, the person. So that's been really cool.
Yeah,
That
that's
happened.
important because we need that. They need that safe passage
Yeah.
from the different realms. Because Christ said, there are different heavenly realms that you have to go through, and so that means that they're not all safe, and that's why we have to war in the spirit. You
Yes.
know, and
Yes.
so that's important is that we be sensitive to the spirit and start listening and hearing. And when I say
Mhm.
listening and seeing and hearing, you can have all five senses, or you may just have one sense. Maybe you just see things naturally, like Sandy was saying. Sometimes it is very scary when you see demons, do things, and you see things manifesting in you,
Yeah.
especially when you're young. Before you get trained in the spirit, what to do.
Yeah. I
it,
didn't know
it
what to
can be
do.
scary,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I
as
didn't know
we
that I could
mature and
just
get
speak
older,
out Jesus. Yeah. I didn't know
yeah,
that just the name of Jesus would make them flee. I had no idea
yeah,
because I didn't have that training. I was young. I was 7, so it wasn't
right,
like I could just go, you know how to do that. But I think if we equip our children, and I think you know a lot about that, Tracy, equipping our
yeah,
children to see their presence and what to speak to them. And that is so important that we talk to them about the spiritual realm because the truth is if you turn on the TV right now, Netflix, anything, whatever, you're going to see that the spiritual world represented by Hollywood. Now, is that what we want our children to see? Is that what we want them to see depicted? No, that's real, but they're only depicting one side of it. We need to depict the other side of it, of the victory over it. That's not, it. So you can see things about angels. Remember, what was it called? I liked that show. There was a show, Angels. Had a British speaking girl.
oh, with Della Reese and
Yeah.
yeah, I know what you're talking. Angels on the no, uh, I forgot the name of it, but I know exactly who you're talking about because Della Reese was on there and she used to sing.
Yes.
And yeah,
Yes.
she was like over the two angels that were here on earth.
Yes. Yes. Well,
Yeah.
it's terrible. I can't ever remember TV shows names because and that's good probably. But Touched by an Angel, that's what it's
Yeah,
called.
that's
Touched
it.
by an Angel. So, they depicted it well. I liked that show actually. But that's what I mean. If it's out there, why are we so I feel like sometimes talking about angels is almost taboo, right? Like, oh, were we going to talk about that? Yeah, Touched by an Angel. Thanks, Pat. Um, but yeah, that was a great show. And, um, you know, I had another experience. I guess I'll just go on to that one. And I actually asked my neighbor, my friend who lived around the corner from me, because I was talking to her on the phone. We had just gotten cell phones. It was back in the early 2000s or whatever. And I was sitting at a light and the light turned green. And it was funny. I delayed for a second, but then pulled out. But this is one of those intersections where car accidents happened all the time. I know because I lived around the corner and could always hear the sirens. So I pulled out and a car comes like this and it hits here. It didn't hit me. It hit something very big and it spun out. It hit the curb and then it kept going. Like, but it never hit me. Like, how it never, the car didn't hit me. So I was like, oh, wow. And I was talking to my friend on the phone and she heard it. She heard the screeching. She heard the whole thing. She heard the bang, whatever it hit. That car hit an angel. There's no doubt in my mind. That was my guardian angel. That was my protector angel. And it was big, whatever it was, because it would have had to been, it had to cover that whole side of the car. And so I was just like, I was just sat there in panic I almost wanted to chase the car down, not to be mad at them, but to go, what do you think you just hit? Like, I want to know what you think you just hit because you didn't hit me. So what was it? Because it just amazed me that they just kept going. And I was like, come on. I want I need someone to go, I don't know what I just hit. It didn't crash their car. It didn't crash my car. And so And that intersection was known for, being really bad accidents. I mean, and he was flying, or she, I don't even know. But I mean, that's happened to me a couple times. And so, and so I think, those are the times it was a wake up call again, that God was protecting me, that again, he had sent his angel to protect me, in that moment, that it wasn't my time, that this is not your time, and it's just amazing how many stories you'll hear. Once you tell one angel story to someone, you will be so surprised at how many angel stories people have.
Yeah.
I have heard them over the years. I have another story of a friend whose spouse was ill, kind of ill, and but he wanted to do yard work or something, and he was out in the yard, and I guess he had fallen down while he was out there, and a white car pulled up, and two guys jumped out and helped him up, and then when the wife came out, she's like, "Oh no," and the man said, "Yeah, I think I need to go to the hospital." And so, because he had something happen, it was an event of some time. And so the guys were standing there helping him, and the ambulance shows up, and the lady was so flustered, and then she's like looking around for these guys that had helped, and she said to the ambulance guy or whatever, "Where did those guys go?" And he went, "What guys? What? There were no guys." And she's like, "There was a white car and these guys." And he's like, "No." Like, "No, we didn't see them." So sometimes you're visited and you don't know they're angels. That's why they say, to always be good to strangers, and to you don't know who you're entertaining. You don't know if you're entertaining angels or not. And I've had a couple at the park. My kids are playing, lady sitting there reading, and she's like, "So what church did you go to?" I'm like, I don't, and then she's like, "Well, it's really important," and gives me a little bit of wisdom. And it's like, I don't see that lady ever again at that park, so you just don't, you just don't know, they're there to send you messages. If you're not listening, I think that we can hear from God, but sometimes I think hearing from a third party does help us to focus back onto him if we're not hearing. So they're sent to protect you. They're sent to give you a message. Of course, there's many references in the word and in different places on why they're sent to us. So I don't know what kind of Bible you have, but if you look in the back and you look up angels, you'll be there. There are many scriptures, obviously, and there's many visitations, because if you think of any major event that happened in the word, what preceded that? An angel usually was sent to say something, to show something, to, and I'm not going to read you all the different scriptures that mention angels, because there are many, and not to mention, you should go seek that yourself. Go look it up. I want you to. So I encourage you to, because that's the thing is, your faith, I can tell you experiences all day, but you have to have faith, that you just have to have faith there. You can't, telling an experience is one thing, but really believing that it's true is another thing. And so seeking out that truth, the truth that God has given us, in his Holy Spirit. And it's like, I haven't had as many angel visitations, or I don't think. And I think as I got to listening to God more closely, I think I had less of hearing from having to have a messenger maybe because I was finally tuning in, like, okay, God, I hear you, you know. But I think that when it's needed, he will send them to minister to you. I think that they're such an important piece to the whole, to his whole kingdom. And in Isaiah 6, it talks about the song that they sing, to God over and over. And I had a guest on my show not too long ago, and she had a heavenly experience, and she said when she came out of the tunnel that the angels were so loud. She said she almost wanted to tell them to be quiet because they were so loud singing, and she couldn't tell when they were faced towards the kingdom and they were outside the gate. She couldn't tell if it was just people or if they were angels because they were in these robes. So I mean that's a neat thing also, is to hear people's accounts of when they have a visit to heaven, when they've had a near-death experience, and what they see and experience. And so I'm really
I
excited.
agree. I think all of that builds our faith up. So if you're listening today and you have had an encounter with an angel, we would love to hear from you. I'd love for you to get in touch with me. You can always send me a DM. Again, my name is Tracy Williams. You can send me a personal message, or you can always email me at tracyinspires@gmail.com. I want to give a shout out to Sisters Helping Others Progress with Ms. Lisa Moore. Thank you for joining us this morning. Again, if you're just catching on, this is Tracy Williams with Inspiring Hope, and we are here to inspire hope in you today, to let you know that you can have a positive expectation no matter what it looks like, and you can ask for the angels to help you, to assist you, because they listen to the voice of the Word of God. So again, if you find yourself in a certain situation, look up a verse about that in the Bible, whether it's healing or whatever it is. Look up that verse, speak that thing out loud, and let me tell you, an angel will come and sit and assist you. The word says they hearken to the voice of the word, but you have to be careful how you entertain strangers, because I think that we encounter angels all the time and we just don't know it. And that's why they say count your blessings, because so many times angels stop things from happening to you, just like Sandy was mentioning. They also bring you creativity. So if you have ever experienced a time where it's just you in the house by yourself and you're worshiping or something, and all of a sudden you start getting this download from heaven, more than likely there's some angels in the house that are worshiping with you.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yes.
so it just depends on you. But I just want to encourage you to go and ask God about that. You don't have to take my word, but I know all of this we all encourage one another. And so we always have this big saying going around now, we're better together. Okay, so let's get together and let's talk about this. If you have ever encountered an angel, I want you to just drop a 1 in the box. If you have not encountered an angel, or you don't know if you have, then just put a 2 in the box. But everybody, do some participating. If you have encountered it, put a 1 in there for me. Have not encountered an angel, put a 2 in there, because I'm going to pray for you to encounter an angel. Actually, I pray before this show that, that even as you're watching, that you would encounter an angel, that he would start bringing you answers, because some people are looking for answers. Some people are looking for not to be fearful of something, and so if that is you, to not be fearful of something, just start praying the word, because there is no reason to fear. God will fill you and flood you with love, because I'm going to tell you what casts out fear. Perfect love. Perfect love casts out all fear. Yeah. And so only one place can you get perfect love, right? You can't find it in a man. You can't find it in a woman. You can't find it in a job. You can't find it in your own business. Even if you make all the money in the world, you can't find it there. But when you get that perfect love, when you get that download of that honey liquid love, because honey is sticky. The honey comes down slow, but honey won't leave you, right? So it's like when you get that thing, thank you so much, Pat, for showing us that. When you get that thing come down, let me tell you something, can't nothing remove that from you. So if you're fearful about anything, whether it's a job, because I feel like people are fearful about jobs right now, or transitioning, what do I do next? Because we're in a new season. If you haven't noticed, maybe it's sprung forth on you. Some people are thinking we're getting ready to go into a new season. Now I'm here to tell you we're in a new season right here, right now. And the seasons don't go by fall, winter, spring, they go by what God says and when he says. And so if you don't know what to do in this season, you need to start really seeking him and ask for an angelic visitation, because God will do it for you, right? There are angels that just come for healing. And there are angels that just come for, we call them the death angels, and they come and they do what, they are designed to do. And so a lot of times we don't want to let go when it's time for somebody to go. And so that's, angels there. And so I've met a lady, one of my dearest friends, the death angel came for her husband, and she was like, no, it's not time yet. She prayed and she pleaded with the Lord. In other words, she wrestled with that angel until the angel let him go, and he stayed on this earth for a few more years. And so we'll have her on the show here as well, you guys. And I want you guys to be here for that testimony so you can see and hear the whole way through, right? Don't just come for part, come for the whole thing. And so praise the Lord. I want to put this message up here. Thank you for sharing that with us, Pat. She knows exactly what I'm talking about. Yes,
she does.
So that's exciting when you have that. And so I'd love to just dialogue with you a little bit and just hear what has your experience been, with the angel. And so I'm not going to have time to share any of my angelic experiences today, but I have had maybe about 4 in my lifetime that I know, that were really prevalent that I know of, even though I'm sure that they stopped accidents probably, I don't know how many times. I can't even count those times, actually. But, I just want to encourage you to, like Sandy said, look in the word, because let me tell you, what is unseen, 2 Corinthians 4:18 says, what is unseen, right, or what is seen is temporary. So this chair I'm sitting on, this is temporary, right? All this stuff around me is temporary. But what is unseen in the spirit is eternal. So we want to encourage you to seek for those things that are eternal. On those things that are true, that are lovely, that are just, that are of a good report, things that are praiseworthy, those things, think on those things. And so my prayer for you today is that God will give you eyes to see and ears to hear, because many people have eyes, but they see not. And many have ears, but they hear not. But today I want your eyes to be open a bit more, right? That the inside, you'll be able to see like what is going on, so you can tell where you are, whose you are, and be confident in that no matter what, I know that, this is real, this happened, and it is what it is. So before we got on the show, I was like, don't hold back today. So if this was too much for you, there's no apology, because I told her, don't hold back. Just let it go.
Well, that's the place where I always come to with people when I tell experiences. It's like, how come you're going to believe it off your television screen, but you won't believe it in a personal relation interaction? That always blows my mind. That we'll watch these things on something that somebody else has produced and has made up, but we're not willing to believe the real stuff, like the real interaction. What was the inspiration for them to even create that? Why is that even, on the television screen? So I think that's where I always am boggled as to.
So here's the thing with that. You know what? We're all created different, right? Yeah. And so, like, even with my kids, I could tell them something, and they won't believe it. But they can go to Johnny Blow down the street, or Miss Sandra, because my kids all go Miss Sandra, right? Miss Sandra down the street. She tell them the exact same thing, and then like, oh, okay. And then they'll come back like, Mom, thank you so much for teaching me this and that and all that kind of stuff. So God does the same thing, right? He's a heavenly Father. We are his children. And so sometimes we just don't believe it until we experience something, or we don't believe it till we hear from somebody. Like my husband, man, I'm telling you, that man can prophesy to me, right? And I'll be like, whatever. But then I'm just being real. Then somebody else can tell me the exact same thing, and I'm like, man, my husband told me that. Until I started learning, okay, so maybe he really can hear the voice of the Lord. This is like we were younger. Like I said, oh, maybe it's real. So then I got to the point where I trusted him so that he would just say one thing. He said, we don't eat red meat no more. That was it. And that I was done. And so from that, I just didn't have that desire anymore. I just didn't want it, because I recognized it wasn't just for my good, right? But it was from God. So some things are good things, the
Yeah.
GOOD, and some
Yeah.
things are God things,
Yeah.
the capital GOD, right? And so I knew that that was capital GOD that came out of his mouth. So I'm like, I will follow that, right? And so it
Right.
takes different things for different ones of us. Like you were saying, like with your son, that angelic experience, he couldn't deny it.
No.
But somebody else may have had that same thing in their eyes, still will not be open.
Yeah.
So we are just thankful and today for everything. And I want to remind you guys again, your Saturday just got better.
Yeah.
Woo! I'm
Yeah.
telling you, your Saturday, your whole weekend, your whole week just got better because you tuned in to the Self
Yeah.
Care Saturday show.
So I really, I want to encourage them to really look in the Bible about angels. I mean, it takes you through each person had a different encounter. So just remember that. So your encounter with an angel is going to be totally different than somebody else's, just like it was in the Bible, because he's going to come to minister to you in a different way. But pray for what way you want him to send his ministering angels to you. And you can ask him to open your eyes to it. He does listen to our petitions. And so we should bring those petitions to him. And if you're struggling somewhere and you're needing something, I'm telling you, the angel will help you. Can you imagine? That was a big angel. I mean, no doubt.
Right. They are
There were
huge.
lots of angels. Yeah, some of them are big. A friend of mine owns a car dealership, and he said, "Okay, God, I want you to appoint an angel on this side of the building, on that side of the building, on this side for protection." And he's got a whole testimony about it. And he said, somebody said to him, "Don't you want to have a alarm system?" He goes, "No, I got angels. I don't need that." So there's some people that are just so, he asked him, "God, position an angel here, here, here for me." And he's like, "Yep." And I know he has, because nothing's been stolen. So
I know that's right. I trust that. I trust that with my car all the time. I'm like,
Right.
I need 4 on the inside, 4 on the outside. I don't know why, but I always say that. But we're out of time today. So thank you so much for joining us, everybody. You guys have a wonderful week.
For having
And
me.
don't forget to share this with somebody else that you want to be encouraged. See you next week
Yeah.
at 10:30.
Yep. See you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.